Okay, I believe that is it. All right, guys. I'm Synovia Williams, getting ready to do, like I said, part 4 of You're a Badass, chapter 17 through 22. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Chapter 17, it's so easy once you figure out it isn't hard. Let me see. Okay. The notes from what I have started on here, let me see. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one, I'm sorry. Page 136. We can see what we want and nearly kill ourselves trying to get it in a way that's not working. Meanwhile, if we just got quiet for a minute or two and looked at things a little differently, we notice the door to what we want being held open for us by the nice lady in the bathrobe across the room. Then all we'd have to do is fly through it. We prevent ourselves from seeing the literally infinite sea of possibilities and opportunities surrounding us at every single moment. Basically, the notes that I have on there, so often we want something so bad that we tend to overlook it and not really understanding that what we want is kind of like has been right there under our noses the entire time. Sometimes that could go for if you apply it for your business, and as far as you looking for, like for instance, my team tells me all the time, oh, I've been looking for distributors and I can't seem to find them, but not realizing that either friends or family that you have not reached out to, or for instance, maybe those loyal customers that you have that you could have offered the business opportunity for the distributors that you're looking for. But just basically, like I said, going to show that we get so worked up, we overlook the things that we've been looking for the entire time, and it being right under our noses. Who is this with a hand up? Kimberly Moses. Okay, let me figure out how to unmute. Did I unmute you, Kimberly? Unmute, there it is. Okay. Kimberly, I see that you had your hand like you wanted to say something. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I apologize. I could not hear you. I saw your lips moving. Good thing I can read lips really well. But so how do I now? When I muted on my side, I don't hear anything. All I see are just you guys talking. Am I doing something wrong on my side?
You should have been able to hear me. Am I muted for the rest of you also? Okay, the other ladies are shaking their head no that they can hear me. So I have no idea about that because I had all the participants muted, but you should still be able to hear me because it does show my microphone is green for that.
Okay, let me turn my audio off or my speaker off and see if that makes a difference. Hold on, please.
Okay.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
See, I can't hear you.
Let me see. Hold on, Kimberly. Unmute audio. Okay.
Yeah, I had, Kim, I had the same problem when I first logged in. But when I hit the screen and I selected the audio, I selected.
See, I couldn't hear. You said when you first logged in, you had the same problem. Then you selected what, sweetie?
Use device audio.
Okay. All right.
I have no idea. I can't even walk you through it. I don't know. I'm just used to clicking the link and being able to get in.
Well, so I promise you, I will stay quiet. I have my parrots are in a different room, so you will not hear any foul language in the background.
That works.
And I will just listen, because if I mute it on my side, I will not be able to actually hear you guys talking. So
yeah,
keep it quiet.
That's fine. That's not a problem.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's not your fault.
Let me see. Where was I? Basically, as far as that, like I said, all we need to do is take time to stop, step back, and listen to what's going on. Okay, page 137. What you choose to focus on becomes your reality. Yet, because we're so set in our ways and committed to our stories about who we are and what our reality looks like, we only scratch the very surface of all that's available to us every single moment. Meanwhile, we're totally surrounded by countless awesome versions of reality, and they're all just hanging around like a bunch of shy teenage girls at the prom, leaning against the walls, waiting for us to ask them to dance. Basically, what I kind of took from that is what you choose to focus on basically becomes your reality. We put all of our attention and focus on one thing, and totally, sometimes we tend to miss the opportunities that surround us, or the opportunities that what we've been asking for, like what she spoke about earlier. We barely tap into our greatness or our calling because, like I said, we're missing the big picture. We're missing a point. If everything we wanted were so clear and shown to us, we wouldn't react differently instead. Basically just making it happen and we tend to fear the unknown. So we need to, I guess, kind of learn to be unfearful of the unknown, knowing that something's going to come out of it. On page 138, where am I at? After I finish this chapter, this section, I'll kind of open for Q&A or anybody kind of wants to chime in and say something. I'm sorry, page 138. All you have to do is make the choice to let go of everything you're so attached to that's not serving you and manifest the reality that you want. Life is an illusion created by your perception, and it can be changed the moment you choose to change it. I love the part where she said, rough seas make better sailors. And on page 139, if you want to join a party and shift your perspective, do what I say in this book and really do it. Don't just half-ass it. And while you're at it, believe it too. The moment we make a choice to stop making excuses, everything changes for us. And like I said, that's in our lives or just in our businesses. When we think about failure, we become a failure. When we think about success, we tend to have an abundant life and become successful. All of life's experiences are preparing us for our future. Don't half-ass anything in life or anything in your business is. If you're going to do it, put your all into it, put 100% into it, put 200% into it. Life is basically like a book, and we hold our pen to determine how that story is going to end. You know, if we're in a bad chapter in our lives or in our businesses, you know, it's up to you to determine if it's going to stay bad through that chapter, or you're going to write a better ending for your life or whatever trial or tribulation you may be going through. Does anyone have anything to say about what I've covered so far? Okay. All right. Still on 139. Become aware of what your stories are. You're the author of your own life, not your parents, not society, not your partner, not your friends, not the bullies who called you Fatzilla in junior high. And the sooner you decide to write yourself a better script, the sooner you get to live a more awesome life. Page 141, instead of pretending to be stuck in these lame old realities, use your power of thought to change your attitude and change your life. Self-sabotaging is a big deal. I'm guilty of that also. Not necessarily in life, I would say more so just in my business. If something doesn't happen the way I want it to, I tend to beat myself up about it. But I notice when I do that, instead of those who are around me being able to lift me up with that, it's almost going back to misery loves company. So when you're kind of in a funk, you'll have others that are in a funk with you. Or if you're in a positive point in your life, or make positive of the situation. And I told, one of my girls before, basically, like, okay, for instance, if you post on social media, notice if you post something positive, look at all the positivity that comes back with that. All the people that are not just liking it, but commenting positive things with it. Whether, say, you just got a promotion, or say your child just made honor roll, or just whatever it may be. But the moment we start speaking negative, or like I said, misery loves company, we post something negative on social media, look at all the snakes that slither out and feed into that negativity as well and post a bunch of negative comments. You know, it just, we are what we attract. Let me see. Page 142. If things in your life fall far below the mediocre scale, you get to blame other people and circumstances instead of taking risks to change it because you can't afford to take risks. We don't realize it, but we're making the perks we get from perpetuating our stories more important than getting the things we really want because it's familiar territory. It's what we're comfy with and we're scared to let it go. If we've been depressed or victimized or whatever since childhood, we trick ourselves into believing that it's really who we are as adults in order to continue reaping the rewards. It's how we survived as kids, but it doesn't serve us anymore, so we get rid of it or we'll just keep creating more of it. Once you identify the false benefits you're reaping from holding onto your stories, you can start the process of letting them go and replace them with new empowered ones that serve the adult you. What page is that? 142. You have the advantage of blaming others, being miserable, soaking in your own pity, like I said, looking for pity party, or again, misery loves company. Your past doesn't have to determine your future unless you allow it to do so. If you've had failure or setbacks in life, you don't have to allow that to define you. Again, you have the final say of getting out of that. If you keep reliving your faults and always being fearful, you'll always encounter the same things. Fear is a big thing that holds us back. Did someone say something or raise their hand on something? I'm sorry, I thought I saw a hand go up. Fear can hold us back, and nothing great happens when we're in our safe zone. Like I said, whether you want to apply that to your business or just in life, period. I just got off my team call, just saying great things happen out of your comfort zone. The moment we can tend to step over that mountain of fear and doubt, there's a beautiful view up top. We just got to get on the other side of that and stop letting fear and doubt hold us back. Okay, 143. Get rid of your stories. Okay, hold on. This scarf is making me hot. I'm sorry. Okay, let me see. Now look at your list of false rewards for what they really are. Scared little parts of yourself acting out. Thank them for trying to protect you from keeping you company, but tell them it's time to run along now. Keep envisioning or writing down what it looks like and feels like to have the real adult you replace your old childhood story. Feel it, get excited about it. Make the decision that you're ready to change and take positive action in the direction that you want to go. False rewards are nothing but excuses. At the end of the day, we need to burn our fears and release ourselves so we can be great and walk in our destiny or whatever it feels like our calling or our purpose is in life. Okay, let me see. Page 146. I'm hopping over there. Nothing in this world is permanent, including our stories, yet we try to hold on to them for false security, which ultimately holds sorrow and loss. Be willing to let go. Keep reinventing your story as you continue to grow. Stop listening to melancholy music. Excuse me. Stop talking about how lousy you feel. Stop pretending that putting on your bathrobe counts as getting dressed, etc. Instead, focus on the good and do the things you love to do. Make effort instead of collapsing into a familiar feeling of being depressed. Behave the way a person who isn't depressed behaves. Really sink into the understanding that you have what you want. Going out into the world and trying yet still deep down believing that you're ruled by your past circumstances. It's like forgiving someone but still hoping they sit in something wet. Kind of holding grudges. I'm guilty of that. I've learned to move past it, move on, pray for them, wish them well, whatever, is held on. Because like they say, at the end of the day, that's like drinking poison, waiting for the other person to die. So we're not doing any damage to them. We're actually hurting ourselves. Let me see the notes that I have on it from 146. It's okay to let go of the past or the false beliefs we've made in our heads, but throw it out the door and learn to be great and enjoy being great. Enjoy your time in being great. In order to be great and live that life you want, you can't say it, but we have to believe it. You have to say it, think it, and believe it. Be a team player and keep a great attitude about it. Does anyone have anything on chapter 17 that they want to talk about or possibly add before I hop over to chapter 18? Okay, chapter 18 it is. Hold on, guys. Let me find out where my notes are. Okay, chapter 18, 150. Chapter 18, procrastination, perfection, and a polished beer garden. In order to kick ass, you must first lift up your foot. I like that. Okay, page 151. Because so often when we say we're unqualified for something, what we're really saying is that we're too scared to try it and not that we can't do it. Most of the time, it's not lack of experience that's holding us back, but rather the lack of determination to do what we need to do to be successful. We put so much energy into coming up with excuses why we can't be, do, or have the things we want and designing the perfect distractions to keep us from our dreams. Imagine how far we get if we just shut up and use all the energy to go for it instead. We come up with every excuse as to why we can't be great, or have the things that our hearts desire, or the things that we want out of life. I too am guilty of that, or excuse me, used to be guilty of that. Me going for my next promotion. I've been hunting presidential down like it's like my life depends on it. And I was tending, to make excuses, and instead of putting forth the effort, not saying I wasn't putting forth the effort, but instead of doing everything that I need to do and step outside of my comfort zone and leave the excuses there, I'm not going to obtain that or get that in life. Where am I at? 152. Page 152. And shockingly, the times I jumped in and went for it were way more fun than the times I spent sitting around getting ready and doing nothing instead. Procrastination is one of the most popular forms of self-sabotage because it's really easy. We'll never know the outcome or how fun something may be unless we jump in with both feet. We can't always test the waters or kind of stick a toe in, wondering how great it may be or wondering how that view is on the other side of that mountain. We either, like she said before, you can't half-ass it. Give it your all. Jump in with both feet. And you never know how awesome it'll be until you get out there and try it. Either all in or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
153. If you're serious about changing your life, you'll find a way. If you're not, you'll find an excuse. Remember that done is better than perfect. Nobody else cares or will probably even notice that everything isn't 100% perfect. And quite honestly, nothing ever will be 100% perfect anyway, so you might as well start now. There's no better way to get things done than to already be rolling along. Momentum is a wonderful thing, not to mention highly underrated. So get off your ass and get started now. We make time for the things that are important to us. If not, we'll make an excuse. So whatever falls at the top of your list or your priorities, or if it does mean that much to you, we'll make time for those things. 150. I'm doing 153 and going into 155 to finish out chapter 18. On 153, if you can pinpoint the precise moment that you say, screw it, I'm out of here. You can prepare yourself for hitting the oil slick by hiring coaches or assistants or psyching yourself up or delegating that particular part of it or removing known distractions. Page 155, own it and work with it. There's nothing worse than time wasted pretending to work or stressing out while trying to have fun. No work gets done, no fun is had. It's the worst of both worlds. Figure out how much time you truly need to get the job done and go do something else until the clock starts ticking. That's another thing that I'm guilty of. Doing the things, that are fun or the things that are most important to us. Let me see. Remember that done is better than perfect. That's something that I said that I was going to actually frame and put on my wall. Cami Dempsey said it best. You can do anything, but you can't do everything. We have to decide, when, or we get to the point where we want to throw in a towel, then determine how to avoid that point so you're not confronted by it anymore. Okay, anyone have anything on chapter 18 before I move on to 19? Okay. Jan, let me see. Unmute. Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Okay. No, I was just this one really resonated with me. I could really, because what I do is, I won't do this until I do this. I won't start doing this until this is perfect. And then when I read the chapter, I was like, oh, okay. You know what? I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
You're right. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done.
Right.
So I totally agree with that.
I'm so guilty of that. I'm a perfection whore if there's a such thing. And just realize some things don't get done, or I stall doing them, or they're incomplete or not to my liking. And like they said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just make sure it gets done. So that stuck with me. That's something I said I just need to apply to my life, period.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Anything on chapter 18 before we move to 19? Okay. Chapter 19, the drama of overwhelm. Page 157. I'd like to remind you and me that the majority of the pain and the suffering in our lives is caused by the unnecessary drama that we create. Life is but a dream. Don't turn it into a nightmare. We are so unbelievably blessed to have all the things we have and the opportunities and ideas and people and tasks and interests and experiences and responsibilities, choosing to freak out about it all rather than enjoying the living of our lives. It's like throwing pearls before swine. Such a waste of such a glorious gift. 157. We get so worked up over the little things, we don't realize how blessed we are and the countless things being offered to us, in our life. Take time and, just really be thankful for what life has to offer, regardless. We need to learn to celebrate our micro wins and our macro wins. So it doesn't matter how big or how small the accomplishment or the goal. We need to take time, to just be thankful for all of that. Page 158. When we're forced to do something, suddenly the time is there, which means it's there all the time, but we've just chosen to limit ourselves by believing that it isn't. Show some respect. You can create anything you desire, but you have to truly want it. If you act like time isn't important, that it's fully worth wasting and disrespecting, you're not in alignment with what you say you want, so you're going to have a hard time getting it. Okay. What I took from this is basically, we're in control of our time at the end of the day. If you waste the time you're given, you'll always find yourself struggling to make more time. Appreciate the time that you have now and make the most of it. There are times that I feel like sometimes there are not enough hours in a day, but we need to learn to work with what we have and soon realizing you get more accomplished than what you initially thought anyway. Page 159, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Oh my gosh. Once you know what your favorite distractions are, you can build up a good defense against them. Turn off the internet and phone while you're working. Make the kitchen off limits until you're done if you constantly find yourself standing in front of an open refrigerator door in a stupor. We get into such bad habits that half the time we don't realize what we're doing. Be cautious of the things that normally distract us. I, too, am guilty of that. I'll be doing what they call income-producing activities, and if Facebook goes off or a text message goes off, it totally throws my day or my game off or my agenda off, and I never get done what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. So I don't know if you guys could relate to that, but that's something that me personally that I'm working on. Page 160, we can do anything for 60 minutes. Our brains go into overwhelm when we try to do it all with one big block of time. Never be too busy and allow others to help you or give you advice or even constructive criticism. I still to this day feel like sometimes I'm too busy, like I have a lot on my plate or a lot to be dealing with, but I'm learning how to set, little blocks of time or power hours or being more productive with my day, because busy doesn't always mean productive. And I kind of had to learn that myself. It always seems like, okay, if my head is always in a book or my face is always in my phone or I'm always behind a computer, then I'm being productive. But that isn't always the case. You know, you can be busy but not accomplish or achieve anything that would have been income producing or would have been considered, you know, being productive. So that's one thing that I too am working on. Okay, page 161. Don't get money advice from someone who's as broke as you, or dating advice from terminally single, or decide that someone's main qualification for helping you is that they'll do it for free or trade. Working with a pro will save you time and money in the long run because you won't have to spend time undoing or doing over whatever your wimpy first attempt was. Get into reality. Sometimes we take on more than we could chew because we think we have to do it all, or that the world will fall apart if we don't do everything, or that we are bad, unlovable people if we don't do the 8 million things we're trying to do. Basically what I took from that, Cammie Dempsey said it once before, I think it was at our first conference that we had at Freedom. Basically, we can do anything, but we can't do everything. And I really did not understand that until I got a little further along in my business. I want to say it was probably Diamond, or when I was approaching Double Diamond. You know, I was so used to being in control of everything, or knowing who was under who, or who was going for what promotion. And then it got to a point where it was, you know, it was quite kind of overwhelming, but I understood then what they were saying, you know, make yourself duplicatable so you can delegate that to other team members or other upcoming leaders or other leaders that you may have. You know, so that's something that I want to say. It makes life so much easier, and I don't beat myself up anymore for saying, you know, oh my gosh, you know, I got this to do, I got that to do, I got this call to do, and I got to be at this training and, you know, mentor these people. But like I said, when we make ourselves duplicatable and basically put on responsibilities for other people instead of trying to do it all ourselves, it just makes the world a better place, or at least my world. Where am I at? That's page 162. Also, I got that for chunking down time. It's like goal setting. Taking your larger goals and break them down into weekly goals and daily goals to achieve your big tasks. That's another thing that I teach my team to do. If your goal, or everyone's goal, let me use Steps to Success as an example, of course, our 4 loyal customers and 3 distributors, or even if 10 loyal customers for the month is your goal for the month. Break that down into weekly goals and daily goals. It's so much more attainable to do so if you do it that way. Instead of, okay, it's January 1st, I want to sign 10 loyals. Next thing you know, it's January 29th, January 30th, and you're like, oh my gosh, I only have a day or two to sign, you know, X amount of more people. But had you broken them down into saying, okay, I want to do 2 loyals a week, or let me break this down to say I'm going to blitz 10 new people a day to hopefully gain, you know, 2 loyals a week. I just find out that smaller goals, you know, like I said, help us knock out and receive those big tasks or the big goals that we want to do. Okay, page 163. Do what you can do, enjoy, instead of trying to do it all in misery. Delegate or die. One of the best ways to lighten your load is to stop being a control freak. I'm so guilty of that. And or tightwad and hire someone to help you, or delegate those around you. See below. You absolutely cannot grow a business, get promoted, or be a cool parent, and you will absolutely go gray before your time if you try to do every little single thing by yourself. Like I said, that's something I'm guilty of, something I am working on. Again, if it goes with your business, create layered leadership. No hands up. Okay, page 164. Help is all around us. Sometimes receiving it is simply a matter of looking at it differently or not giving up so easily. Deciding that you can't have something you want, something you need or want instantly, cuts you off from the flow of manifesting it, as well as distances you from the part that lit you up about it in the first place. Once you think I can't, the universe is like, alrighty then, no assistance needed. Here, see you later. Part 3, I'm exhausted. The belief that taking time off will cause your entire life to collapse is not only unhealthy, but it's arrogant. The world will go on if you stop working, you see. This is not a luxury reserved for people who are richer, smarter, or less bogged down than you are. It's a luxury reserved for people who take the time to figure it out and choose to design a more fun-filled life. If we think we can't, we can't. You know, if we think we won't, we won't. We have to open our mind to the limitless opportunities that life presents to us or that life awards us. Always make time for things, and we got to take time to, you know, enjoy the little things in life. Be thankful for the little things. Like I said, celebrate those micro wins that you have also. And a big thing for me is resting when tired. My body is still trying to learn how to do that. I'm pretty sure if any of you or all of you going for a promotion or, you know, whatever your goal may be, we need to learn to listen to our body or just rest when tired. I promise if something doesn't get done today, you have a full 24 hours tomorrow to get it done. You know, it's just something we have to apply not only to life, but our businesses. Any feedback or anyone have anything on chapter 19?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. When she was talking about don't take advice from people who are as broke as you, that pretty much hit home with me, because not in this business, but bad habits are hard to unlearn. So it's good to find the right people to follow and make sure that they're a good influence and not teaching you crappy things, so to speak.
I agree. I was just telling my team, what note did I write down for them? That we need to surround ourselves with people that will hold you accountable to the person you said you want to be. That was one of the notes that I wrote down and just shared on my team call tonight. You know, it's big of, you know, who's in your circle or who's in your clique or, you know, just who you're surrounding yourself with. So I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah, it makes a big difference because, like I said, if you learn bad habits, they're really hard to break after a long time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me see. Alrighty. Let me see. I'm trying to think if this is the chapter. It was one of these chapters I could not relate to, and I told Amber that. So I was like, I have very crappy notes on it, but I'll see if they have anything to do. No, I got some highlighting here. So, okay, chapter 20. Fear is for suckers. We tiptoe through life hoping to safely make it to death. Let me see. I think I started highlighting page 168. To fear or not to fear? That is the question. It's so simple. Fear will always be there, poised and ready to wreak havoc, but we can choose whether we're going to engage with it or turn on the lights, drown it, and crawl past it. We've made being in fear a habit. Page 169. There's something called the crab effect. If you put a bunch of crabs in a bowl, and while they're in there crawling all over each other, one of them tries to climb out. The rest of them will try to pull him back down instead of helping to push him out. Fear lives in the future. The feeling of being afraid is real, but the fear itself is all made up because it hasn't even happened yet. Death, going bankrupt, breaking a leg, forgetting our lines, getting yelled at, for being late, getting rejected, etc. All it takes to turn the fear factor around is learning to be comfortable in instead of terrified of the unknown. Excuse me. Let me see. That was page 169. The notes that I have for that. We basically have grown up to think that fear is okay and, you know, dragging others down with this too. We have to stop, learn to have faith over fear at the end of the day. And, you know, if your faith is being in alignment with, like we spoke before, the universe or God or whatever, you know, we have to have faith over fear and stop putting so much on the unknown and the unseen. That's where faith comes in, you know, at the end of the day. Let me see. I feel like my notes are all over the place. I apologize. 171. On the other side of your fear is your freedom. Gosh, I agree with that. Like I said, that's kind of like all of us have a mountain, you know, in front of us, and it's so much more to see, and the view is just beautiful on the other side of that mountain. But fear, you know, will kind of get in the way and keep us from being great or seeing all that life has to offer and all of its opportunities. Part 1, view fear from your rearview mirror. Envision your challenges from the future look back on them from a place of victory, and they will lose much of their power to paralyze you. 173, our greatest fears are the greatest waste of time. Face your fears with the truth that they are all in your mind and they will lose their power over you. Let me see. Stop looking back on fear or the what ifs. I'm big on that. I'm a big what if person, or I break down a million different scenarios in life. Well, I know I want this to happen, but what if it happens this way? Or what if so-and-so doesn't do this? Or, we got to just stop looking back and being fearful and focusing on the what ifs. Take a step forward and you'll realize things weren't as bad as we made them out to be in the first place. Fear will become powerless if you don't entertain it. We'll never know how great or awesome anything will be unless we go in, once again, dive in with both feet and give it a try. 173, part 2, flip the fear, down at the bottom. Fear is all about how you choose to look at things. So by changing your perspectives on it, you can let the fear of not doing the thing you're scared of fuel your quest for greatness. Where am I at now? 174. Before we get overwhelmed and talk ourselves out of doing something, we got to think about, what's the worst that can really happen. I've learned to kind of look at all situations like that, instead of being fearful about it. Well, if I do jump in with both feet, or if I do go ahead and give this a try, what is the absolute worst that can happen? And that's one thing that I've been able to apply and kind of helps me get past it before I call myself fearful, so to say. Okay. Let me see. 174, part 3, be in the moment. Keep your frequency high and your belief in miracles strong instead of falling prey to the fears in your mind. And you'll find that not only are you much better equipped to deal with whatever situation it is you're headed for, but that 9 out of 10 times is much scarier in your mind than it is in reality. Remain faithful and trust the process at the end of the day. Learn to always look on the bright side and make light of the situation. I try and make positive over every situation life throws my way, right now, whether it's business or just life in general. Not only looking at, okay, what's the worst that can happen, but even things that should knock me off my game or knock me off my feet, I just make light of it and just, remain positive at all times. And 9 out of 10, it does turn out to be a positive outcome. I don't know if any of you can relate to that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like I'm kind of with you. This whole chapter didn't really apply too much to me.
Mm-hmm.
But as I'm reading it, I see a lot of it like in my husband. Like I want to shove this book in his face and be like, please read this. Because he is definitely constant pessimist. And I'm like, stop worrying about this stuff and just do it. Like
Exactly.
just go and do it. And he drags me down sometimes.
Yeah. This chapter was speaking about him. Oh my goodness, I could totally relate. Let me see. 174, cut off, part 4, page 174, cut off the stream of crap. If you want to help the world and yourself, keep your frequency high and do your work from a place of power and joy. Part 5, don't think of anything upsetting in bed at night. Unless you're going to get out of bed right then and there and take some sort of action, don't waste your precious time thinking about your problems. Every time you do this, it's never as bad the next morning when you get up. Basically from that, it's trusting the process again. Before I go to bed at night, I kind of not only thank God for the little things or big things that have happened in life. I also, they say, we shouldn't close our eyes, or we shouldn't go to bed with fear on our heart or anger on our heart. You should never go to bed angry, or never let the sun go down or the sun set, angry or feel fearful or overwhelmed or any of that. You don't want that type of spirit on you, before going to bed at night. Because 9 out of 10 is something that's going to be, out of your control, and the sun's still going to rise, whether you realize it or not, regardless of, what that problem is. Page 175. No, that was 175. It did. I'm sorry. Yeah. Think positive thoughts before you go to bed. Don't take your problems to bed. Don't allow the sunset. Don't allow the sun to set with an angry heart. Any other questions on chapter 20 before moving on? Okay, chapter 21. I think this is one of the ones I gotta breeze through. Okay, I'm gonna breeze through a good bit of it and then kind of go back to talk about it. Chapter 21, millions of mirrors. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Page 177. We're all attracted to as well as turned off by various things about other people. 178. We attract people into our lives for a reason, just as they attract us into theirs. 179. But I am saying that if you actively don't like something, it's because it resonates with you on some level. It has meaning to you. When you find yourself dealing with someone who irritates you and you find yourself getting gossipy, finger pointy, judgy, complaining, rising up and confronting a situation can do a hell of a lot more than just making your life more pleasant in the long run. It can help you heal and grow and get out of the victim mode. Page 180. None of us care to admit that we're dishonest, conceited, insecure, unethical, mean, bossy, stupid, lazy, etc. But that's what attracted you to the people you notice it in and them to you in the first place. What do you focus on, you create more of in your life. If you're continuously and subconsciously focused on certain beliefs about who you are or who you want to be or who you do not want to be, you will attract people who mirror those traits right back at you. That was on 181. 182. It's about respecting yourself instead of catering to your insecure need to be liked. This is incredibly powerful because when you love yourself enough to stand in truth, no matter what the cost, everyone benefits. You start attracting the kind of things, the people, and opportunities that are in alignment with you, who truly are, which is way more fun than hanging out with a bunch of irritating energy suckers. I agree. And by declining to participate in other people's dramas, i.e. refusing to rip people to shreds, to complain about how unfair the world is, etc., you not only raise your own frequency, but you offer the drama queen a chance to rise up too, instead of continuing to play a low, lame game. Before we prejudge someone, take a step back, because a lot of the things that may irritate us about someone is something that, we kind of deal with, or we're pointing one finger, you got three fingers pointing right back at you. We are what we attract. I kind of believe that spirits attract spirits, just to a sense where if you notice someone is always negative, always a Debbie Downer, those who are usually in their circles are usually Debbie Downers as well. Or, if you got someone that's always so positive and just so happy-go-lucky, usually 9 times out of 10, the friends in their circle tend to kind of have those same traits and characteristics as well too. At least I think so. Let me see. Speak for what you feel and believe. Be you regardless of the cost. Okay. I think the next set of notes I have on 185, part 3, don't be an enabler. At the bottom, pay attention and trust how you feel. If you're truly helping them and they're rising to the occasion, it will raise everyone's frequencies and you'll feel good. If you're enabling them, you'll feel heavy, depressed, and eventually resentful. While it's no fun to kick someone to the curb when they're at their lowest low, if you constantly bail them out, they'll never wake up and save themselves. Why should they? They've got you to fund their pity party. Tough love is still love. Part 4, give painful people the heave-ho. Some people are just too committed to their own dysfunction. They're painful to be around. This is all about learning and loving and growing into the highest version of yourself, not just seeing how much torture you can endure. Page 187, remembering that you are rising up to be the highest version of yourself instead of shrinking down to their level can give you strength, and the strength you need to shake them off your leg. Next, hit eject. Cut the cord as quickly and simply as possible with little to no discussion. basically from that, don't be the enabler. Like I said before, misery loves company and will tend to suck you in. If you're that Debbie Downer, other Debbie Downers are around you. If they're that Debbie Downer, then you'll notice that you tend to be negative too. If you got a group of people that's gossiping, or that, if that's what they are, 9 out of 10, you are what you attract. Don't let the negativity of others consume you, or it will drag you down too. It's okay to move past people you don't want to be a part of. Change is good. Growth is good. It's okay to outgrow people. And at the end of the day, it's not something that you have to apologize for. Like part 5 says, love yourself fiercely, loyally, and unapologetically. Anyone have anything they want to add on chapter 21? Nope. Okay, we'll go on to chapter 22 and then we are done. Chapter 22, The Sweet Life. It's great to be here. It's great to be anywhere. Page 189. When it comes to the creatures you love and the things you love and the life you love, what on earth could possibly be more important than soaking them up right now while you still have the opportunity? If it's something you want to do, don't wait until you're less busy or richer or ready or 20 pounds lighter. Start right now. You'll never be this young again. If you got differences, get over them. Don't get so tangled up in the stupid little stuff that you miss out on enjoying the people who have part ownership of your heart. If you're not going where you want to be in life, keep going. That's like I say, trust the process. Your life is happening right now. Do not snooze and lose. I like that too. I think that's something else I need to jot down and frame. Just learn to enjoy the people and the little things in life. Time waits on no man. Life is going to happen with or without you. The world is not going to stop, so, at the end of the day, the way that made me feel, if you have the opportunity to tell someone you love them, do so. If you have the opportunity to apologize to someone, do so. Sometimes you may need to reach out to someone who they've done something and it hasn't set well with you. Take time to reach out to someone. At the end of the day, just, make time and appreciate what's going on in life right now. Enjoy the moment and learn to live life for today. Anyone have anything they like to add on that before we wrap it up, ladies? Yes, let me see. Miss Jan. Okay.
Just the one part on 189, it says, don't let anyone mess with you and your dreams. That's it. Done. Boom.
Yep. Yeah.
Who cares what anybody says? These are your dreams and you go after them and that's what you do.
Right. Because, at the end of the day, like, people are always going to have opinions.
Oh, yeah.
Opinions are like buttholes. Everyone has them. I hate so graphic, but I'm sorry. This is recorded. Amber's probably, no, she's not going to kill me because she has a potty mouth worse than me. So these are like buttholes. Everyone has them at the end of the day. Like, your dreams are your dreams. They're yours for a reason. Some people will understand, some people won't. But I've learned, like I said, just surround yourself with those who are going to hold you accountable for the person that it is that you say you want to be. Or surround yourself with those who are going to pump you up about that dream that you have. Not those that are going to tend to want to bring you down or say, is it Jan?
Yes.
Okay. Or say, Jan, well, they always look at the negative for it. I had to remove some of those people out of my life, whatever my dreams and goals were. It's like they always had something negative to say instead of cheering me on, so I wholeheartedly agree with that. Like, that part there, don't let anyone mess with you and your dreams. Nothing else even needs to be said about that.
Right.
Anyone have anything else, ladies, before we wrap it up and before we jump on a corporate call in 10 minutes? If not, thank you. I'm so happy y'all let me do this, even though I was kind of stumbling across my notes and everything. I appreciated y'all tonight. Hope y'all enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.